In this video, I'm checking out the most expensive lens I've ever tested on this channel, and it is quite magnificent. This is the brand new Sony 12-24 f2.8 G Master. A special thanks goes out to Sony for loaning this lens to me for a period of 2 weeks. I've been using this over the last 2 weeks, and in fact, I have to pack it and send it back today, and it's quite sad. I wish I could keep it forever. Actually, I wish they would make something like this for APS-C, but let's get on to the review. The big headline with this lens is it is the world's widest constant f2.8 zoom lens, I think, ever. So let's take a closer look at what makes this lens so awesome. The Sony 12-24 f2.8 is a G Master, which means it gets this awesome orange logo on the side of the barrel, but beyond that, it means this is the top tier, best of the best, top of the line lens that Sony makes. It's made up of mostly metal and plastic and glass. The outside of the barrel is plastic, there are a lot of metal components inside, and there is a lot of glass. In fact, there are 17 elements in 14 groups. Sony has used a number of different coatings, including the Nano AR coating version 2 on the front lens element to help with some ghosting and color rendition issues. The lens is overall very good looking. The focus ring on the front is electronic, as you would expect with most modern lenses. The zoom ring is nicely damped as you rotate from 12mm all the way to 24. As you zoom in and out, the barrel of the lens does not move, so all of the movement is done inside of the lens body, which is unique and definitely a more challenging way to construct a lens. Around the front, there is an enormous glass element that is semi-protected by a lens hood that is fixed and not removable. Around the side, as you would expect, there is a programmable focus hold button, as well as an autofocus and manual focus switch. One of the great features on this lens that I haven't seen on another lens yet is this small tab at the bottom of, in this case, the rose petal lens hood, to prevent you from scratching the bottom of the lens if you have it mounted on a camera and you're just putting it down on a flat surface. Around the back, as you would expect, you have a metal mount, electronic connections, and interestingly, because the front lens element is so large, you have a rear ND filter mount. It comes in at a whopping 848 grams. So it's a pretty heavy lens. It feels very sturdy in the hand, feels very well built. Although I do notice that there are floating elements on the inside of this lens that do move when you tilt this lens forward and back. The Sony 12-24 f2.8 features a 9-blade aperture, and it features four linear XD motors for super fast, super accurate, and very silent autofocus performance. This lens is weather sealed, so it has a nice rubber gasket on the bottom of the mount. Beyond that, it's sealed on the inside, so if you are out in the elements, dust and moisture, you don't have to worry with this lens. And when you pair it with a camera body that is also weather sealed, you have an awesome combination. So that is what the lens looks like. Now let's take a look at what you can do with a lens like this. I have it on my A9, and here are some sample photos and videos. Ready, set, go.
Usually I'm cold frozen.
This lens is just super cool. I don't know if I'm the only one who's kind of an ultra-wide fanboy, but the things you can do with this lens are very unique, and you get a whole different perspective when it comes to taking photographs. If you wanted to get this type of image on an APS-C censored camera, you would need an 8mm rectilinear lens, which I don't know that one exists as of the date of this video. The Laowa 9mm f2.8 is the only thing that comes close, but as you get super ultra wide, the difference between 8mm and 9mm is pretty significant. In fact, here's what you get with the Laowa 9mm, and here is 12mm on the G Master and a full frame camera body. As you can see, this lens is noticeably, definitely wider. So let's talk about optical performance. Wide open at f2.8, I was expecting it to be not as sharp as it was, but the images coming out of this lens and this camera body were tack sharp in the center, tack sharp in the corners. There was a slight bit of vignetting at 12mm, but it wasn't huge. There was almost no chromatic aberration. There's very limited amounts of it, but it was very, very well controlled. Barrel distortion almost non-existent, at least when I was shooting JPEGs with the Sony A9. So from a distortion standpoint, this lens is an amazing feat of engineering. In addition to that, flaring is very well controlled with this lens because of Sony's fancy coatings. I really didn't have any issues shooting in direct sunlight at all. I think what Sony is doing with this lens is they're just plain showing off. This is what we can do, this is what we can make, and it is just a masterpiece from an engineering standpoint. As you would expect, the price on this lens is high up there. It is a whopping $3,000, which is the price of a cheap used car, but I have to say that there are really two types of photographers that I could see really loving this lens. In fact, maybe three types of photographers. Number one, you take photographs of real estate. You are a professional real estate / architecture photographer. If you're taking pictures of the outside of a house, the inside of a house, this lens makes everything look massive, and the perspective is very unique. Number two, if you are a professional wedding photographer and you carry around the 3 ultra fast walk around zooms, you could have the 12-24, the 24-70, and the 70-200 all at constant f2.8. That kind of makes sense. It's a lot of money to get all those lenses, but if you want the best of the best, if you want G Master lenses, that's the route you can definitely take. And number three, maybe astrophotography, or if you want an ultra wide landscape lens, you can do a lot of really creative shots with an amazing lens such as this one. So that is going to be it for my review of this lens. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and learned something. Again, special thank you to Sony for letting me borrow this thing for 2 weeks. I'm sad to have to send it back, but also in the back of my mind, kind of relieved because now I don't have to worry so much by carrying around a $3,000 piece of metal, glass, and plastic. It is an amazing lens. I cannot say anything bad about it. Stay tuned for more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for all of your likes, comments, and support. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.